What's up, guys? Hybrid Mongoose here, and welcome to a little bit of a different video. Today's video, I'm going to talk about what I learned after being a manager for a couple years, and kind of my lessons learned. Before I start getting into this, I don't want to. This isn't to call out any one company or actually point the finger at any one company. No company is perfect. Every company kind of makes mistakes or has blind spots, so this isn't to like bash my previous company. I actually have no ill will towards my old company. I actually hope they are doing good. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's really more so what I came away with and what I like kind of took from all of this, and a couple of mistakes I made and a couple of mistakes I won't make again. I'll tell you that much. I have to go back a couple of years because it'll kind of paint the picture a little bit better. 4 years ago, I started working for this company, and it was in a rough spot. There were not that many employees. I actually had the foresight to bring a couple of my friends from my previous job who I knew were good in IT and come with me. So I brought two other people with me. The problem that I had, we were working very hard, and then we were supposed to merge with another company, so help was coming, apparently that was on the horizon. Once the help came, I realized very quickly that the company that merged with us, their managers were going to be our new managers, and this wasn't really explained. Like, I thought that was so weird that this was happening, and no one actually explained that. So I was still going to my like normal IT director and going like, "Hey, what's going on?" And then all of a sudden I was told, "Oh yeah, direct all questions to so and so," and I'm like, "Wait, what is going on?" Like, out of nowhere, everything changed, and I'm just like, it wasn't, at least for me, it wasn't super clear that like, oh, these are our new managers now. I'm like, just like, what? And unfortunately, I didn't get along with basically either of them. Um, and it's so funny, they were so yin and yang. And again, this isn't to call out any one person, but one of them was so standoffish and barely came into the office, and the other one was so a micromanager that it would drive you crazy. Either one I couldn't really work for because I don't want the manager that's never there, or or I don't want the manager that's like won't leave me the hell alone. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. They were so yin and yang, it was ridiculous. They weren't even remotely the same. Things were getting bad, and then something happened. A lot of people were quitting from the company that merged with us. They were quitting. A lot of them were quitting, and they're dropping off like flies. And I was starting to get very unhappy in my position as well, because I feel like the rug was pulled from under us, and now we have new managers. And I feel like this wasn't fully explained to me, and I don't know. I feel like, okay, wow, I worked here for 2 years, and then all of a sudden, we got new managers, I got new this, that, whatever. I'm about to leave. I'm interviewing at this point. I actually have a job offer in hand. And this is where I messed up. And this is a mistake I'll never make again. And I realized that. So I had my job offer. I was about to have it in my hand. At that point, the owner of the company kind of sat me down and said, "Hey, I know you're looking for a job. I want to make you manager. And, I want to make you a manager of the knock, of the help desk." And I'm like, at first I was kind of like, do I really want this responsibility? And I'm kind of don't shy away from a challenge. I kind of go, why not? Let's see what happens, type of thing. So, it's one of those things where, I kind of was just like, there's a lot of people that would shy away from that or don't want the responsibility. I was like, bring it on. Let's go. Let's see what I can do. So instead of taking that job, and like I said, this is a mistake I'll never make again. My advice to anybody who's in this situation is never ever take a counter offer. When you go to put your time in to leave the company,
Leave.
don't ever take a counter offer, because it's like they don't value you until you say you're about to quit, And again, I'm not trying to point a finger, but this company wasn't great on raises and making you feel appreciated for certain things. You know what I mean? Um, so it was kind of one of those things where it's like, you're not. I felt like I was never going to get a raise unless I actually was going to leave. I took on the challenge, though. I was like, you know what? I'm still in good standing with my current, employer. I never thought I would never actually like go for a manager position. but since it came up, I took it. And what that entailed, the shift was good. All the guys that worked on the help desk were pretty much on board with this. They were cool with it. I was more of a lead, like the way I managed was more of like I'm in the foxhole with them. I would still do what I was doing, but then I would also help everybody. The problem was, we needed more processes and procedures. Any single time that again, I'm not pointing the finger at any one company, but or any one person, but whenever I would try to get something started for a change, it always gets shot down, things like that. Um, and when you take a manager position, if you're about to take a manager position, you have to realize what that entails. Really the buck stops with you. You are responsible. So my word for management, what I think of management or being a manager is it's definitely overrated. Yeah, you slightly get paid a little bit more, but then you also have to deal with 17 times more bullshit, because a lot of the times you're dealing with issues where the client is already mad and now you have to take over and smooth that over. And I was very good at that. I was very good at de-escalating situations and kind of just telling them how it was and getting over issues. And you know I, that gets old. It gets old to have to take, you're getting yelled at by the clients. You're taking the brunt of that, and you are literally, you know, essentially being yelled at for something that you didn't even do. You're taking, but it's your responsibility whether that employee messed up or not. The other thing that I learned is, like, you can tell an employee what to do, right? Like, you say, "Hey, I want you to do this, blah blah blah." Doesn't mean they actually have to do it. You know what I mean? And in my situation, I was kind of handcuffed where I couldn't. I actually tried to write up people before, um, not out of malice. After like telling them 20 times to do something, they weren't doing it. I had the power to write people up, and I was trying to write somebody up, and and this is where it's going to get kind of more finger pointy. My direct boss would not process it at all. So this guy can mess up 25 times. It didn't matter. You know what I mean? So I was kind of, not only was I actually handcuffed in terms of like what I wanted to change to make things better, I also was handcuffed on information. It bothered me. I didn't know how much my guys were making. I didn't know how much they were paid. I didn't know when the last time they got a raise. I knew nothing about that. I was never given any of that information. So I had all the responsibility and all the things to try to make it better. There were some things that I did change that definitely are going to stay there. And I'm sure they're using to this day. One of them was like, the field technician was never scheduled. So people would literally ask the field tech what he's doing, which was such a it's so funny, like that they were doing that. And then one of the first things I did was start scheduling everything. The new user setups and everything was just a chaos, and there was a lot of things that I feel like I smoothed over. There was a point in time where things were running good, and me and my direct boss didn't, he had more to say, more to argue with, and it's when you have a boss that is also kind of a workaholic, it makes it hard to justify anything.
Like, you don't do enough work. You didn't work hard as me. Blah, 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 blah. I worked 80 hours this week.
Like, there's always some kind of an excuse why you're not doing enough, and any of your work that you do is not appreciated because you didn't work as hard as they did, apparently, or didn't work as long as they did for just offering it up for free. That type of mentality was throughout. So, like, we would get on calls, and a lot of it was downplayed. Oh yeah, this is part of the job, blah 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 blah. Switching to the new company that I work at, it's like you get paid hourly for, I'm salary, but I get paid hourly when I go do after hours calls, and when I'm on call I get paid, I get compensated for my time. A lot of companies nowadays are just like, your salary, we got you, we can tell you to do anything, you're gonna do it for free, you're not gonna see an extra cent on your paycheck, doesn't matter, we got you. I spent a lot of time helping people after hours, trying not to let things get to where my boss, there's so many things that I fixed without even alerting him. You know what I mean? Without even, I handled it like with my guys and everything was good. But because he safeguarded and he took away information, I was never taught really anything from that guy. Like, I hate to say it that way, but like, not that he's supposed to teach me, but anytime something came up for like a firewall or whatever, he'd just be like, I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that. So there are certain instances where they would, my guys would go directly to him because he's the one that set up this network. I never got tasked with setting up like firewalls or anything like that. So it's like I had no clue how to even start to troubleshoot this stuff. And and then he'd get mad like that people are going to him. It's like, you're not giving me the information. Like, yes, technically I could go online and teach myself, but task me with setting up a firewall. Let me, like, I have in my new position that I work now, I'm a systems engineer, basically doing projects all day. And I have learned so much in the 2 months that I have worked at this job that it's insane. And my actual like direct bosses will like teach me things when I ask for help. It's so refreshing. It's so different. So like the gist of this video is, what I learned is, if you're going to be a manager, know what it's going to entail, like really entail. When I say entail, meaning you could be called after hours. You could be blamed and yelled at for things that you didn't do and things that you even warned your guys to take care of. And they still didn't do it. You know what I mean? So like, the buck stops with you. You are to blame when things don't go right. Even if you have someone who isn't a good worker, someone who doesn't do a certain thing or whatever, it still stops with you. No matter how many times you tell them, you tell them 15 times to do something, it doesn't matter. It still stops with you. And then, like in my situation, it was kind of worse because obviously I couldn't, when you have a boss that can never punish somebody for something, then, they respected me for sure. But when people would continually mess up and I couldn't even have the power to write them up, that's a problem, especially being a manager. So I felt like I was a manager, but with like baby gloves on, and any big changes that I wanted to change or anything, like my opinion meant nothing, I felt. And I did a lot of the work after the 2 years of being a manager, doing all this work after hours. I kind of felt like it was kind of for nothing in a way. Towards the end of my time there, I was demoted. I was told I was going to be doing projects, project work. I was basically doing level 1 help desk again. And for someone who's been working in IT for 11 years, I'm answering the phone more than the level 1 help desk is. So there's a problem here. What I learned and what you're going to go into now, this is not to say that if you have a manager position coming up, or if you get an offer from another company and they give you a counter offer, be very careful, because that is almost like, you're holding your current company's feet under the fire, and you're saying, hey, I'm leaving right now. And if they all of a sudden give you a big raise and give you promises of promotions and blah, 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 just be aware that they may not have been ready to replace you, but it happens all the time where you accept the counteroffer and then 3 months later they fire you, or 3 months later they let you go because they found your replacement, etc., etc. Some companies are like that. My company wasn't necessarily, but like I said, I didn't feel appreciated after 4 years of working there. I was there from when it was terrible, got it to a decent place, was manager, got it workable again, and because I feel we couldn't keep staff hired, we were going down the tubes again. And it was just like, I'm not dealing with this again. And then obviously they demoted me, and it's just like, you know what? I helped the sinking ship once. Now the ship is kind of sinking again. I'm going to step off respectfully and leave. And again, I respect everybody that works at my old company. It's not like that. Maybe I didn't know some things on the back end, but when I got my new position, I was like, I don't really want to be manager. I'll be honest with you. I want to be just another worker bee. Let me do my job and go from there. So yeah, if you're going to get a counter offer, be very careful. If you're going to be a manager, make sure it's for a company that you really enjoy and you feel appreciated for. I wasn't really feeling appreciated when I was about to leave. So that was definitely a red flag for where I needed to go. I probably should have left then, but I wouldn't have. I'm glad I had this experience because it taught me, taught me some very valuable lessons. And I do feel like maybe one day I will be in management again. But it's one of those things where it's just like, I'm glad I'm not manager right now. I'm glad that's over. I don't regret going through that. And I feel like a lot of people are too scared to really put themselves out there and try. And I don't regret going through that. I learned a lot, and I do think, I'm a good leader in a lot of respects. I don't think I'm the perfect leader ever. I don't think I was perfect. I think I made mistakes just like anyone else. It's just, you know, eh, you had two people that just disagreed on things, and to the point where nothing would ever get done. We would just argue. So eh, that's another thing. Don't take a manager position if you're not really good in good standing with your current boss. Like, I had nothing against my boss really, but we did kind of argue a little bit and things like that. So like, that should have been another red flag to just not take the job. So like, if you're going to take a manager position, make sure you feel appreciated already in your job, that you get along with your current boss, and you have a good relationship with that person. They understand each other, and you're not just constantly fighting with each other. Now, fights happen, like arguments happen in the workplace. That happens, but it doesn't mean that all is lost. And me and my direct boss probably fought too much, and that, like I said, that's a red flag in terms of, like, looking back on it, it's like, I probably shouldn't have taken the manager position. Probably not, but like I said, I don't regret it. I'm glad I went through it. Hopefully this video is helpful to anybody that either was a manager or is thinking about becoming a manager. My advice to you guys, like I said, is don't take a counter offer unless you're actually, but really, don't take a counter offer. Kind of period. Because like I said, the chances of you getting fired later on are super high. If you look up the stats, it's like astronomical. Like, be careful of that. Usually they don't let you stay working there for 2 years after although mine was a promotion type of thing, it doesn't matter. Like, what I'm saying is, they could have kept me for 30 days and just fired me. So my point is be very careful of counter offers. If you're going to take a manager position, hopefully it happened naturally, and you're doing such a good job in your current job that they just offer you the manager position. That's the ideal situation that you want to be in. You don't want to be in the situation that I was in, where, like, hey, everything's going to hell. You're about to jump off the ship. Please don't jump off the ship. Stay with everybody. It's just like, this is, and I felt like I was kind of used. I felt like I was used because everyone liked me and respected me, that like that change would be good in a lot of the employees' eyes. And I think it was. But the problem is like, if you're going to make me manager, make me actually manager. Don't give me these little baby gloves and go, here, you're a manager, and then anything that goes wrong, you can't change anything. And you know what I mean? Like, so my situation was not great. And again, not all places are going to be the same. I respect everybody, like I said, that I work for. Even my direct boss, who was a IT wizard, honestly, one of the most intelligent IT people I've ever met. He fixed issues that I was amazed at. And I've been working IT a long time, so like, I really respect him as an IT professional. In terms of just getting along and agreeing on certain things, we were kind of like oil and water. I'll be honest with you. We fought constantly, and that's, and again, not a good sign. I should have known. But anyway, this video is already 20 minutes long, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave it down in the comments below about, are your situations with counter offers for jobs. Were you a manager for a while? Like, what do you feel about it? Do you feel like it's overrated, like myself? Are you currently a manager? Do you actually enjoy it? Also, if you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. As I do different types of videos, this will help let me know that I'm going in the right direction with my channel. Hit that like button if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.